Hi guys, and welcome to episode 12 of Beat to the Punch. I'm joined on the line by Brendan Gillooly. Brendan, how's things?
Great, Steve. How's it going?
Yeah man, good. But we'll just work our way through. We'll start off with a wee bit of last week's action. We'll start off with the stinker of a fight, and it was Sean Porter versus Ugas. Did you see this fight, and what was your thoughts on this fight?
I saw this fight. I wish I didn't see this fight. It was just ugly and just terrible. It was a terrible primetime live Saturday night fight on regular TV.
Yeah, it was. It really was tough viewing, wasn't it? It was very scrappy, and I mean, Sean Porter. He kind of tried to change the way he fights, and he found out the hard way that he's not a boxer. And when he was trying to box, he was getting outboxed by a very good technical boxer in Ugas. And I thought that Ugas actually won the fight. What do you think about that?
I agree. I thought he won the majority of the rounds with whatever he landed. Wasn't much because Sean Porter trying to fight from the outside makes no sense when you're his height and don't have the reach. I thought Ugas won the fight, but the 11th and 12th round, no one really put the pedal to the metal and really went all out to win it. Maybe Ugas' corner thought they had the fight won, but they might call for a rematch, but I wouldn't watch it, and I doubt anyone would buy a ticket for it.
We did see a knockdown. I think it was in the 11th round, which was probably the only action that I would actually recommend in the fight. No, I didn't see anything wrong with his knockdown. But it get counted as a slip. How did you see that knockdown? Because that could have changed the fight. If that gets called a knockdown, then Ugas wins that fight.
I thought it was a clear knockdown. I'm not sure how he ruled that a slip whatsoever. But maybe some home cooking. I hate to see that, or just a bad ref job we're used to seeing. I think if he gets the 2 points, he still wouldn't have won the fight on a couple cards.
Oh, I thought it was. I thought it was. Sorry, I must have misheard that. I thought that would have turned the fight around.
What do you have? We had 117. I can't actually remember the scores off the top of my head. I don't even think I watched the. Was it 116, 112, 117, 11, and 111, 117?
Yeah. I don't know. To be honest with you, I was probably half asleep by that point. Anyway.
Yeah. That's not one anyone wants to watch a second time.
Yeah. Just a quick point on this. It was a PBC feed I was watching, and I think it was Lennox Lewis. It was on there, and just when you says a wee bit of home cooking, my God, they were pushing that Sean Porter boat.
It seems a lot of people have been critical over here. It seems that whoever the house fighter is or the PBC fighter is always that's all they really talk about during the broadcast, which is a shame. You'd like an unbiased broadcast, but we're not going to get those anymore.
Yeah. Brendan, I don't know if you're doing something with your microphone, but there's a crackling coming through the line.
Hold on a sec. Is that better?
Yeah, man, yeah. Yeah, that's much better. But just to go back to the boxing, Ugas. Now, I said last week that Ugas was he was a very talented fighter, and I thought he used his jab really well. Now, it wasn't a great fight, but I thought that Ugas boxed really well, and I thought that he won the fight. Do you think that Ugas is going to get a rematch with Sean Porter, or do you think Porter's team might have just learnt a lesson that this guy was probably better than Sean Porter?
I definitely don't think he's going to get a rematch. Sean Porter pretty much already said that he's looking, forward to bigger things. He wants a rematch with Thurman, maybe the winner of Spence Garcia, maybe a Pacquiao fight. I think he deserves a rematch, but like I said before, I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't watch it, and I don't know many people that would. Yeah.
Well, before the fight, let's go back a wee bit further. And at the weigh-ins, Sean Porter really struggled to make the weight. He actually went to the extent of cutting his hair, which shows you how desperate they were. I mean, they celebrated him making weight like he had won the fight. Do you think that Sean Porter maybe finding it hard to make 147 now, or is he ready to move up?
Yeah, I don't know if 154 is going to be for Sean Porter. He's not that big a guy. Well, he's a stockier. I don't want to say stocky that he's fat, but he's like built like a mailbox. He's all muscle, but he's so short, and I think his reach is already a problem at welterweight. I'm not sure how it would how it would affect him going up to super middleweight, not super welterweight rather. Um, I can't really see him being effective at 154. Maybe he didn't have a good weight cut or a good as good of camp as usual, but I think maybe 147 will be a problem for him to make. He's going to be in a flux here in his career, I think.
Ugas is, he's waited a long time for a shot at world title. Did we see him doing anything at 147, or is he going to become one of these kind of guys? He's maybe no worth the risk.
He's all risk, no reward type fight. He's gonna have to work his way into a mandatory position again, I think, to get a title fight. And he's not a fight anyone's gonna really want to line up a prospect coming up with. He's in for he's gonna have a hard time getting a big fight. I find a guy like with no fan base and no big promoter, and pretty good boxer, good fighter. It's gonna be hard for him to find another big fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that as well. He did look very capable. He had that nice style for the outside. He did a brilliant jab. I thought he boxed Porter's head off with that jab, and I thought after the first 2 rounds, every time Porter tried to do that rush in thing, he was timing him every time. But the only thing was, it was like single shots, whereas Porter maybe throws 3 shots and they all hit the elbow. But judges tend to lean towards somebody that looks busier, rather than precision punching, and I think that's probably what cost him in the end was, his single punch accuracy was superb, but he looked as if he was getting outworked at times.
Yeah, the judges definitely rewarded Porter for shots that weren't landed, which sucks. Often happens. They reward a busier fighter, which just because you're busier doesn't mean you're winning a fight, which we all know.
Yeah, but also in that same card we had Callum Johnson fighting Shawnee Monaghan. I've got to admit, I've casualed up. I've not actually get round to watching this yet. I was going to watch it before we came on the podcast, but obviously with your times going forward, I've ended up calling you late, so I've not had a chance to actually watch it yet. So just give me your run through how you seen this fight. Give me your review of Callum Johnson.
That was on the Dazn card, Dazn, whatever the fuck it is, the Joe Smith Beevil card that Callum Johnson just simply overpowered him, and he beat the shit out of him. He busted him up good, and he looked good. I don't know if he could mix it up with the upper echelon guys, but I'd say anyone from 6 to 10 in that division, rankings wise, he's a good matchup for.
Yeah, but actually, that's another casual moment because we actually spoke about that in last week's show, the Joe Smith Jr. and Bivol card, and you says that this was going to be the fight of the night, maybe, but it turned out that probably wasn't the case. But Callum Johnson, I thought when he fought Beterbiev a few months ago, he gave him a lot of problems, and it kind of maybe got overlooked how good a performance he was putting in, because I think he got put out of there in about the 4th or 5th round. But up until then, I thought he was well in the fight and he was giving a good account of himself. So based on that and what we saw against Shawnee Monaghan, do we think Callum is ready to, mix it and stay at the world level?
I think he can compete there. He's definitely has, his hands are so heavy. I'd like to see, I know Joe Smith lost on Saturday night, but I'd like to maybe see him Joe Smith fight. That's 2 guys who throw big bombs. That's entertaining fight for at least a fan's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, everybody kind of likes Callum, and he's one of these people that he's went about his business his own way. Not a lot of people know about him in the sport until we actually seen him fighting in America, and as I said, he won a lot of fans back here that night with his performance. So I would actually like to see him do well. But just to touch on the main event in that card, Bivol and Joe Smith Jr. By all accounts, Bivol, he boxed his head off But Joe Smith Jr., he's not the most skillful guy. But do you think that Bivol, if he is the real deal, should they be getting somebody like Joe Smith out of there, or is the way that he won just as impressive as getting the guy out of there?
Joe Smith's a tough guy. I don't know if he's gonna, stop him.
Yeah.
Stop him anyway. He's just a really, really good boxer. I don't know if he seems very small for that weight. And I saw Joe Smith's trainer said that don't be fooled, he does punch hard, but maybe he just doesn't have, when you're fighting quality guys too, you're not often going to, put them away.
Yeah, well, that's, I've always thought that with Bivol, that he seems like one of them guys, he's maybe fell in between weights. His natural size is maybe just in between weights. So I think at light heavyweight, if he was to take on, one of the bigger boys, I think he would, he would find it very hard to mix it with him, But I don't know. The jury's still out for me. I know a lot of guys are high on him, but for me, the jury's still out for me on Bivol. What's your thoughts on Bivol? Actually, just while we're on it.
I think he. I was saying usually when guys go down in weight last week, it's not a good idea, but for him it might be a good idea because he doesn't have any problem making the weight. I think he could shave off the 7 pounds and do okay at super middleweight. Or if he wants to stay, I guess, maybe we'll see what he has in a unification fight. Like, I'm with you. I'm not really sold on him yet. I have to see him in with, like, one of the top 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah, definitely. Anthony Yarde was also fighting last week, but we'll not embarrass ourselves by talking about that fight because it was a typical Anthony Yarde opponent. And we were actually scheduled to maybe talk a wee bit about Anthony Yarde tonight and how people are losing interest. People, i.e. being me. But today, the WBO have ordered that Sergey Kovalev and Anthony Yarde fight, and they have 30 days to negotiate this. Do we see this fight getting made? Do we see Yarde finally step him up? And if he doesn't step up now, can his reputation recover?
I don't think Sergey wants to get rid of that belt, and there's no real clear fight for him right now, with all the promotional and network stuff going on here. I could see the fight being made. Anthony Yarde, I don't know too much about him. I've seen a handful of his fights, to be honest, if that. He seems to knock everyone out, but, I looked at his record, and he's not really even fighting, like, other prospects or any type. A lot of journeymen, and I think this fight would be. I don't know. I have to see him in with the live body to even know what he can do.
Yeah, well, that is a big thing. It was only about 3 or 4 fights ago that Anthony Yarde was fighting his first southpaw. He's only had. We always hear in the UK he's only had 15 amateur fights or something along those lines, and he's moved up. But this is the danger of getting guys into these high-ranked positions when they've no worked their way up. Now Anthony Yarde's going to go in there against somebody like Kovalev, and he could get seriously hurted.
Yeah. We know what Kovalev can do, and I hate when they when they build guys this way. You got to test them at some point. His first test can't be, or first sign of adversity can't be in against Kovalev, because he'll probably stop him. I hate when you see a guy, they're just focused towards one belt. They manipulate the rankings, and then all of a sudden he's one and done. Then he's going to get the shit kicked out of him, and then I don't know where they go from there.
Yeah, but this is a thing it's happened in Britain. We usually see it with Matchroom, is what they do is they match these guys easily, and then they finally throw them to the wolves, you know what I mean? And these guys, they're ill-equipped. They've not picked up the skills in the small hall scenes, or, they've not picked up the skills fighting like hard domestic battles, European battles. They've not done all of this, and yet they jump up to this like elite level now. We all know Kovalev is on the slide. But we also seen in his last performance that Kovalev's still got a fantastic brain in there, and when he's on point, he's still one of the best. He's still one of the best in the business, to be fair.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Could Yarde win this fight? Maybe. I don't know. I have never seen him in tough, even with over here they used to run guys through like Darnell Boone. Not the greatest fighter, but guy could punch like crazy. He's put guys down before. He's fought no one. I mean, I don't even know how he has to. Does he have a big following? You have to wait for him to do something.
He has actually got, I think he did at one time have a lot of people on the train, including myself. But, there's only so long you can see people just not fight, not take competitive fights. And, I think a lot of people are starting to waver. And I think and that's why I thought I would bring this up. I think that if Anthony Yard manages to wriggle out of this fight or doesn't take this fight, I don't think his reputation recovers, or he'll never get that fan base back. Because I think it would just confirm a lot of your suspicions that he's just not that good. He's a good looking kid. He's got the physique, but he's just there's no substance to any of it.
I don't know. I guess this is what his management was working towards, right? The title shot. So I assume he definitely wants to fight. If it doesn't come off, it'll be because I guess Kovalev would want to do like a unification and then to postpone your mandatory or something like that.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to other news that was breaking the other day there, and it was Top Rank isn't finished trying to sign up more British talent. It's suspected that they're in talks with Billy Joe Saunders, Carol Frampton, and I think the other one was Josh Warrington. That's a good few signings there for Bob Arum, but what do you think his plan is for this? Is it to take guys over to the States? Because, I mean, these Carol Frampton and Josh Warrington, these guys sell stadiums out in the UK. They're big sellers. So, I don't see if there is bigger commodity in the US.
I agree with you. I think if he was to sign him, he has plans on maybe working with Frank and making cards for them over there. Because, what are you going to do with the Josh Warrington in, I don't know, what are you going to put in, I don't know, Chicago or something like that? He's not going to sell any tickets, but you put him anywhere, near Leeds, and the guy's going to, sell out an arena for you. Frampton does great everywhere. He goes over there. He doesn't have many players for Billy Joe Saunders, so I think that's maybe he's just stacking up names. Maybe he wants to get involved in the British team since it hasn't been so good lately. Maybe he sees an opportunity.
Yeah, well, it's kind of seems like a wee bit of a role reversal because Bob Arum doesn't have any deals in the UK. He's kind of teamed up with Frank, but he doesn't have any platform deals. Whereas Al Heyman does have a platform deal here in the UK. He works with ITV, and you would think it would be Al Heyman who's signing up guys like Billy Joe Saunders and Josh Warrington. You think it would be Al Heyman trying to snap these guys up, but Bob, I don't see what Bob's game is here, but he's obviously got a plan.
Yeah, I know. I tend not to doubt Top Rank pretty much any time. I thought they'd be in big trouble when HBO gave up boxing, but then they came out with this giant ESPN deal. He's made that deal with Frank Warren to show his cards or his events over here on ESPN Plus. So he seems, Bob's a wily old bastard. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he definitely is. And just keeping on Billy Joe Saunders, it was just announced today that Billy Joe has split ways for the Ingo gym. It's looking like he's going to go back with Ben Davison, which may be a good deal. It may be good, a good partnership. But I've actually seen these two team up before. It happened just round the corner from my house, and I went to this show. And Billy Joe Saunders should have lost his world title that night in a swimming pool, in Paisley Leisure Centre, Lagoon Leisure Centre. He should have lost his world title in front of about 300 fans that night. He was awful. I don't know, sometimes trainers and fighters mix, and I don't know if they two are a good match for each other. What do you think about it? Do you think it's a good idea for Billy to leave Ingo? And do you think it's good to join up with Ben Davison? Do you think Davison is the right man to take him forward?
I'm not a big Billy Joe Saunders guy. He said he's moving up to 168, I believe, right?
Yeah. For one fight, it was due to there's been a fuck up with the WBO, I think it is. They had a world title shot, and then it turned out that the world title wasn't even vacant. So that world title shot's now, he's not getting a world title shot, pretty much.
Oh yeah, well that sounds about par for the course of the WBO. I'm surprised they just didn't invent the belt for him.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't put that one past him. That's probably what will end up happening.
Yeah, the WBO silver super duper super middleweight belt. It doesn't mean anything.
Against the fourth best guy in Germany, no doubt.
I don't know. I think he's a great boxer. He's done well with the angles, so I don't know why he'd leave that gym. But maybe he's trying to turn his life around. The guy's a bit of an asshole in my mind.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There is a lot of bad characters in that gym, and I don't know if it's maybe that is why he's leaving, because when Billy Joe's went there, he's getting a lot more high profile, bad press, bad PR for himself. But he's also vastly improved as a fighter. He looks like somebody that actually was back in love with boxing again. So I don't know what this actually means for Billy's career.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd go with Ben Davison, but maybe if he feels comfortable with him, you could go by a fight by fight basis. I think a guy like Adam Booth would work very well with him. I don't know if he would want to go down to London to work with them, but I guess it's up to him. I guess you take it fight by fight. I'm not sure this fight's going to show you anything coming up. You know what I mean? He's the fight, like you said, fourth best guy in Germany. So, I mean, he should win hands down, no questions asked.
With Bill, this was one of the questions that Nathan Dowie sent in us, and he was just asking about Billy Joe Saunders linking up with Ben Davison, and do you think that the fact that Tyson Fury's with Ben and doing such a good job that will be a positive influence on Fury? Because we all know that Fury needs to be motivated in there. Do you think that's a great idea, having these two guys together?
Well, I guess he was the one who was on his apology tour, which I don't believe Billy Joe Saunders said that, Fury reached out to him, gave him, not talking to him, but told him, helped him try to fix his ways of looking at things. Maybe it'd be good for Billy Joe Saunders. I don't know how good it is for Tyson Fury to be hanging around that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll just while we've started on the questions, we'll just keep going with them. And we had the Gloves Red guys, another podcast. Give them a follow and check out their website. Really good content on there. But they'd also asked about Kovalev Yard, but we've pretty much covered that. But then went on to ask about will Matchroom continue to do lukewarm cards here in the UK while the Dazn cards are rocketing in the US. What happens if Dazn was to come to the UK? What does that mean for Sky Sports? And that's very intriguing, because I think that eventually Dazn will come to the UK. It's the future. Streaming's the future, and I think Eddie Hearn's he's got in early and he's put himself in a prime position to be in the future.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's definitely the way the boxing's going to go. At least in general, I'd personally rather pay the $10 to them, the $5, and not have to pay for any pay-per-views ever again. That seems like a pretty good deal. He's definitely, he's looking towards the future. The U.S. cards haven't been that great, to be honest. He really hasn't. I think that's why a lot of British fighters haven't come over here, because he hasn't signed. His American stable is good, but there's no big star, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like this weekend, you have Tevin Farmer.
John O'Carroll.
The co-main event is what's the Irish chick's name? Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
I guess it makes sense at St. Patrick's Day weekend, but it's like that's not a card where you're like, I have plans. I can't miss. I'll skip my plans to go watch that.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, it just Sky Sports has kind of made Eddie Hearn, and I mean that would be weird. You mean when you see Sky Sports, you think a Matchroom when it comes to boxing. It would be weird to see them go their separate ways, and it just seems like it kind of shows you the ruthlessness of Eddie Hearn. And I suppose you need to be ruthless to survive in boxing. Boxing moves very quickly, and how many times do we see promoters getting forgot about? So I think that you've got to give Eddie a bit of credit for seeing this coming and kind of try to grasp it.
Yeah, he's put on good shows with them. At the same time, he's been forced to put shows maybe he wouldn't have wanted to on pay-per-view because maybe he's not getting enough money. So maybe, maybe he sees the streaming as the future, which we both agree on. So, but boxing is ruthless. And, at the same time, you don't know if he's at talks with Matchroom at the end of his deal's coming up. They're not looking to renew or for a lower cost, which is everyone's looking to do these days.
Yeah. And I think obviously with his Dazn deal as well, with Sky Sports, his hands are tied with working with other promoters because it's exclusive deals. With Dazn, he's pretty much just a phone call away from working with Golden Boy. And I mean, so that gets you guys like Canelo and that on the just at the other side of a phone call away, and you're all still on the same platform. There's no doubt that other promoters will probably end up on Dazn as well. So as I said, it could be the future of that. So I think the Sky Sports platform and the way of doing things, exclusive deals, I think that's about becoming a thing of the past. Do you not think?
That's that's what happened here with HBO. Pretty much was top ranked cards exclusively. Showtime was PBC cards exclusively. You don't see the fighters crossing over as much, and in the end, it wasn't good for HBO, and they got out of the boxing business. Like that. Especially we have Wilder here. He's been with pretty much Showtime the whole time, and Fox, PBC, and he's just got a big offer from Dazn. He was, other people looking to sign him. So there's no loyalty in boxing from anybody. So I don't expect a promoter to be loyal to a network. And I think having exclusive content, giving someone an exclusive deal, is always silly because you're not getting you're not. There's no competition, so they're not forced to put their best their best content forward.
Yeah, we're still kind of seeing, although we've seen promoters jump channel to channel, we're still seeing this same problem. It's probably getting bigger now, this problem, because you'll get guys like Bob Arum and Top Rank they've got a commitment to come up with like something along the lines of like 60 shows a year, just say, or 50 shows a year. They can't afford their guys to be gone elsewhere. That's a hell of a lot of boxing to be televised. Obviously that's why they're making deals with Frank Warren, because they can obviously show British cards to make some of that up, but that's only going to pick up so much of the slack. So we're kind of, although these streaming deals and we're still kind of seeing the same old problems when it comes to crossover fights.
Yeah, unfortunately it's it's like the Gaza Strip time. No one wants to cross over. It's shameful. It's a shame. The only people really losing out are us, the fans.
As usual. But just sticking on this theme with Hearn and Dazn, we've had Martin Theobald for the New Age Boxing Pod. Martin's superb. If you've not heard the New Age Boxing Pod, they'll definitely want to check out the good laugh, them guys. But he says that it's Hearn and Dazn have recently reached their 1 year anniversary. Could you give their relationship a mark out of 10? Now, this is better for you because I'm totally clueless with Dazn, as we don't get it in the UK. So this is over to you as a US correspondent.
Would I give it out of 10? I don't know, maybe like a 5 or a 6. It's a work in progress. I think everyone's learning as they go. The streams the quality is like impeccable, so there's no complaint there. Some of the quality of the cards hasn't really been that great, but like I said, it's a work in progress. First year, I would give it like almost an incomplete grade. But you know what, I like what I see going so far, and hopefully it improves going forward.
Do we think that a lot of the things that maybe holding Dazn back is maybe just people? People don't like change, and it's just maybe people getting used to getting their sports from a streaming service. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. People are used to going to their usual places for sport, but to actually pick up a tablet or go online, maybe people just are a wee bit slow in the uptake, and that's what's damaging the relationship so far.
That could be it for sure for a little bit, but it's $10 a month, so you honestly can't beat that. I know a lot of people said they were getting rid of HBO. It's just another $10 a month for me, so and then it gives me, I can see guys like Canelo and Anthony Joshua, and I don't have to pay $75, $100. So for me, for like 3 fights a year, it's worth subscribing to. And I think most people, at least around our age or my age, would think the same.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Martin's brought that up because it's the 1 year anniversary, but we also have a big fight coming up with one of Hearn's fighters fighting Canelo, with Danny Jacobs is going to be fighting Canelo on Dazn. Would it be fairer to actually assess that, Mark, after that, to see how that event goes and how well, all parties come off?
Yeah, I'd say it would be good to assess it after that. I'm excited for that fight. And that's what I was hoping for when they started this network, to get fights like that, and that you normally, that would normally cost, $75 for, is now, it's part of my subscription package. It's $10, which you can't beat,
Yeah, definitely. As I said, because US fans, you pay ridiculous money for your sports, especially boxing. So, I mean, if you can get like something, a subscription rather than a pay-per-view, then it's, if you think about what you're paying over the year, and then compare that to what you would pay for Canelo Jacobs on a pay-per-view, you're winning money.
Yeah. If you bought 2 pay-per-views a year, and you only watch, those are the only 2 fights you watch, it's still worth it to subscribe to the zone for the year. It's $120, probably even cheaper if you pay for it all up front.
Yeah. Another thing, sorry, this was just breaking tonight as well, and it's just kind of caught my eye again. And it's Chris Mannix has tweeted out saying about Deontay Wilder looks as if he's not going to be signing with Dazn, and it looks like he's turned down a deal worth around $100 million. Is anything going to go right in the heavyweight division for fans?
I saw that $100 million offer for 3 fights, and I said he's got to take it. I don't know what they promised him from Fox or Showtime, but that's, I know a Joshua fight would make tremendous. $100 million is a pretty tremendous amount of money for a guy, who barely sells out, the Barclays. And I think his biggest purse to date, $1 million.
Yeah.
But weight division, so
yeah, and
I saw that they said.
Well, sorry, but we're kind of getting a wee bit more optimistic that if he goes to Dazn, then the Joshua fight, they will demand the AJ Wilder fight gets made. It will be probably all but done. And the fact that now it's fell flat on its face again, I've just get this horrible feeling that the horse is bolted, that none of these heavyweights are going to fight each year. And they've not got any hunger or desire to fight each other. They're all making millions of dollars with certain TV deals here there. And I think we'll be very lucky to actually see the three of them have this triangle of fights.
Yeah, it's a scary proposition there. That if you're guaranteed all this money to these guys to fight the likes of like Dominic Breazeale or Pulev, or who really wants to watch that? Yeah. You know the outcome pretty much before the fight starts, unless someone lands like a Hail Mary punch.
Yeah.
It's, back to the, I can go back to ignoring the heavyweight division like I had for a while.
Yeah, Craig Smith, who we usually have on, Craig is quite an optimist, and my pessimism is starting to drag him into my way of thinking, and I think that Craig used to like the heavyweight division, but I'm pretty sure I'm chipping away at him, and I'm bringing him down to my level.
I'm from New York, so I don't like anything. So
yeah, man, that's it.
I'm about as pessimistic as it comes.
Yeah, I'm in Scotland. We're all moany, so like moaning's one of my 5 a day. Yeah, and it was just the last question, and it was for Sean Bastow. Sean had me on his podcast. I made my podcast debut with Sean in his Eat, Sleep, Box, Repeat. They're doing quite big stuff now for themselves, so check them out as well. But Sean's asking, if Garcia is to overcome Spence at the weekend, would you want to see him fight again at welter and move back down for the bigger fights at lightweight? Personally, for me, I would want to see him go back down. I wouldn't want to see him hang about. I think it would be a wee bit of a freak result if he gets it. which we will be previewing after this, but I think it would be a wee bit of a freak result, and his place is still back down. To see the best Mikey Garcia, I think he goes back down to his own weight. What about you, Brendan?
I agree. I think we saw him at 140. I mean, he looked good, but he didn't look great. And I think 147 is going to be a big ask. But I think he should go back down. But would he? I don't know. All the money, probably bigger money fights for him at welterweight. So maybe that's where he would stay.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's us. That's us finished with the questions. So let's just move straight on to the previews. Let's just start with the big one. Saturday night, Mikey Garcia takes on Errol Spence Jr. We've seen a guy step him up. We've seen him press himself, a 4-weight world champion, Mikey Garcia, looking to go on and take up probably the best welterweight out there. How do you see it going? Do you think he could do it?
I don't think so. I've seen a lot of people saying, everyone knows Mike Garcia is probably one of the best technical fighters around, doesn't make many mistakes. And when you make a mistake, he punishes you for it. But Errol Spence fights kind of the same way. They both kind of stand on the outside and wait for you to kind of make a mistake and then attack. And I think people are underestimating how good a boxer Errol Spence is with all the Mikey Garcia hype of how great he is. I always think, a good little man doesn't beat a good big man.
Yeah.
I think Errol Spence, if he gets to him, he's going to stop him.
Yeah, I think that Mikey Garcia's big problem is going to be that Mikey likes to let you attack him and then he picks up the flaws. But when he's going to be fighting somebody with the power that Errol Spence has got, but that one attack could be the end of Mikey's night. And I just think that the size difference, as much as I love Mikey Garcia, I love watching him, I just think this is just going to be a step too far. But how much credit does Mikey Garcia deserve for challenging himself and trying to be the next Manny Pacquiao or the next Roberto Duran or the next Sugar Ray Leonard, taking this big leap and being a massive underdog?
Oh, he gets all the credit for me. It's a great step up, and if he loses, it's not really a big deal. Not a big, not a big dent in his record. He went up 2 weight classes to fight, one of the 2 best welterweights around. So if you lose, you lose. Not the end of the day. If he wins, he starts becoming more of a legendary fighter. So I can definitely see his reasons for taking it, and I give him all the credit.
Yeah. Do we think that what does Errol Spence? How much credit does he get out of this fight? Because everybody really I know the bookies have it a bit close. I think the rest of us that know a bit better kind of know that we know what's going to happen, although we're kind of hoping that Mikey can prolong it. But how much credit will Errol Spence get out of beating Mikey Garcia? Does he get a lot? Does he get some?
I think he only gets a little bit because everyone's going to say, you beat up a lightweight. Just I don't think it's fair either because, Mikey Garcia isn't exactly just any lightweight. He's one of the, he's one of the best boxers around. That's the downside, but he'll be ready to fight another welterweight after he wins anyway. So I don't think. I feel bad if people wouldn't credit him for a victory, but the way people are these days.
Yeah, you can't win. You can't win at all with him. Well, as I say, I mean, when this fight was signed, I wasn't too overly impressed with it. I thought it was just prolonging fights that I wanted to see Mikey Garcia in. But as it's crept up, I've started getting into the hype of it. And you know what? Now I'm just enjoying it. I'm reading the articles and, I'm letting myself be swayed because, you know what? The boxing's been a bit shit so far this year. And I just want something to get excited about. And I'm just kind of hoping that Mikey doesn't get blasted out. I think if this goes to the scorecards, I think Mikey Garcia deserves all the credit in the world if he was to take somebody the size and with the skill of Errol Spence and take him to the cards. I think that's just as good as a victory.
Yeah, it would definitely be a moral victory for him for sure. I was saying I wasn't going to buy this and I was trying to find a stream, but I'm in. I'm definitely buying it. So whatever happens.
Yeah, man, you've got to get excited about something. Sometimes you need to let the inner casual come out, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
This weekend, I think Friday night actually, we've also got Tevin Farmer fighting John O'Carroll. You know, this could be a good fight. You know, I think this could be very entertaining, especially with John O'Carroll's style. How do you see this one going?
Looks we don't got any really big punchers in here, so I see it going to decision. Probably Tevin Farmer. He boxes very well. I think he's going to outbox John O'Carroll. I'm not too excited to actually watch it, to be honest with you. Farmer's style's like, he's a little tough to watch.
With John O'Carroll, do you not think that any time I've watched Jono, he seems to get himself into wee tear-ups, and you know, although he's not the most skillful, the most gracious, you know, I think that he's got that ability to maybe just like, you know, guys that maybe wouldn't usually get into a tear-up, he's got that to bring it out in them, and as you say, there's no knockout power, so they'll pretty much just rough each other up. But just on Tevin Farmer, I mean, Farmer lost 2 of his first 4 fights, and now he's a world champion. I think that there's a lot of credit should go to Farmer. I mean, in the UK, if he lost 2 of his first 4 fights, he'd be throwing the scrap heaps, and he would be making a living boxing in like small hall events, you know, in wee towns somewhere, you know. But I mean, I think for that kid to lose 2 fights and come back and totally rejuvenate his career, and I mean, now he's looking at a fight. If he wins this, it looks like Eddie's going to make a massive offer to Gervonta Davis, which could be another cracking fight. And what's your thoughts on Farmer?
I know Tevin Farmer's been looking to fight Gervonta Davis, but to root for. Sometimes he's hard to watch. You know, he struggled for a long time fighting on small shows before he got his title shot. He talks a good amount. You know, the guy was shot in the hand. He's overcome a lot of adversity to get where he is, and I don't think he takes it for granted whatsoever. He's a hard worker. Just, you know, sometimes not too easy on the eyes, but very good boxer. Very good boxer.
Yeah, and I mean, I seen Eddie Hearn the other day. I was a wee bit critical of Eddie, but I'll let him off for now. But Eddie Hearn looks as if he's going to be splashing the cash if he beats John O'Carroll to get this Gervonta Davis fight made. Is that a fight that does anything for you?
Yeah, sure. Especially since they got like a little Twitter beef and online grudge or whatever. I like a good grudge match, so I'd like to see that fight. I think, Davis definitely has a bigger name, so he's not sure, once but if you splash enough cash, you're able to get him.
Yeah, well, Eddie was actually saying that he'd made offers before, but he's not convinced that Floyd Mayweather's actually taking him to Gervonta, and that's why the fight is taking so long to get made. But, you know, I don't like taking promoters' words for these things, so I don't know if you've got any thoughts on that.
I agree with what you said. You know, he doesn't think Floyd's taking offers to him. If the guy's offering him a ton of money, why wouldn't he take it to him?
Exactly, because Floyd gets his cut off.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. It doesn't really make...
Yeah, I think the American media is maybe just waking up to the Eddie Hearn stuff now that we've been seeing for years. This is why I was a wee bit critical, and some people just can't have me criticising Eddie Hearn. I get a wee bit of a backlash, but fuck them. But we'll finish up with the previews there, unless you've got anything else you want to add for the weekend.
Yeah, we got Mick Conlan's fighting in the theatre.
Oh, the boy that he fought at the Olympics, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. But I got something to be able to make it, but that's usually good. You know, they kind of show. And you also got, I think Louis Collazo is fighting Sammy Vargas co-main event, so that's not a bad couple fights for. Yeah,
we're just kind of losing you again a wee bit here.
Oh, sorry.
It's just it's just coming and going, but we're nearly at the finishing line now anyway. So we'll just finish up with must see, and I let you down last week because I forgot about the documentary I watched. So I've cheated this week. That's the one I'm going to use this week, and it's a documentary on YouTube called Prospects about 2 young fighters. You know, it follows them over 4 years. It shows you them for schoolboys, like amateurs, right up to like fighting for England, and it's a fantastic show. Yeah, I thought I'd lost you there. Yeah. So you've got these two young lads, and it kind of shows you them how their careers progress, and the kind of emotional battles behind the scenes that you don't see, you know. And it was a bit of an eye opener. So, you know, I'll share the link. I'll probably stick the link either on the website or something like that, you know. But I'll share the link so people can watch it. But it's definitely worth a watch. It's on for an hour and a half, but it's a right eye opener that one of the kids is trained with his father, and it's like the emotional experience his dad goes through as well. Like the pride and all that of seeing his boy box for England. As a matter of fact, in one of the fights, the boys get beat by Josh Taylor in a Scotland v England exhibition match. So that was good. You know, I felt sorry for the boy, but you know, I'll always support Scotland over England anyway. And Josh Taylor wasn't slow and rubbing it in the boy's face either. Have you seen anything this week, Brendan?
There's a documentary series out on called Loser. It's about all these high profile loss. They did one episode was Little Ben and how he recovered from a couple defeats. It's just you're recovering. It's interesting. The program itself was pretty good.
Is this the show that's on Netflix? Hello?
Seen it?
Yeah, I've got you back. The line's just patting in just as we're about to finish. I'm just saying, is Losers, is that the show that's on Netflix?
On Netflix.
Yeah. But listen, I don't think that this line's going to hold up too much longer, so I think it's maybe best that we just end it here.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, well, we've been, it's up here in Scotland, we've been getting battered with Storm Gareth this week, so everything's been a bit over the place. But again, thanks very much for your time, Brendan. You've been brilliant again, and I always love speaking to you. I always love listening to your views on boxing.
It's always a good time.
Yeah, mate. Well, thanks very much again, Brendan, and this is the end of episode 12. Thanks again, guys. See you later.